Alright, econ students, we are going to talk about Adam Smith. Now, Smith was a Scottish economist who wrote a very important book on economics called The Wealth of Nations. He very much expounded on what we nowadays might call capitalism, but it's really about markets. Okay. And one of the big insights he had was that you had buyers and you had sellers, and that's really the two sides of an equation. And buyers and sellers try to benefit each other. Okay. Now, in The Wealth of Nations, it's a very thick book. We're only going to be looking at a couple of parts. And the part we're going to look at in this video is going to be one about a butcher, a brewer, and a baker. It's a very famous little line, and just a few lines from The Wealth of Nations, where Smith is really laying out how it is that people are trying to be mutually beneficial to each other, but not on purpose. Really, they're operating out of self-interest. Smith calls it self-love. Okay? So people operate out of self-interest. It's just a matter of course. He's not saying that people should. He's just saying that people do. So why not set up a system that appeals to that natural state that we have of trying to satisfy our own self-interest? Okay? So in The Wealth of Nations here, he has an excerpt where he says, but man, right, he starts off by saying, well, animals are going to be self-sufficient once they get old enough, but people, not so much, right? Once we get older, we're in constant need of other people and what they can do for us, right? That we're not going to be self-sufficient. So he says that man is almost constant occasion for the help of his brethren, and it is in vain for him to expect it from their benevolence, their generosity only. He will be more likely to prevail in getting what it is that he needs if he can interest the other person's self-love, their self-interest in his own favor, and show them that it is for their own advantage to do for him what he requires of them. Okay? So basically, if I'm trying to get somebody else to do something for me, I appeal to their self-interest. Right? Think about it. You're trying to make a deal with a friend. You don't just go up to your friend and say, hey, start begging them, or at least hopefully you don't. Probably you're trying to make a deal with them, right? That if I do this for you, can you do this for me? All right. And really, you're opening up with their self-interest. You don't start off saying what it is you need. You start off by saying what it is you can do for them, right? Appealing to their own self-interest and trying to get them to do something for you that you're hoping that they're going to be willing to do. Okay. So you appeal to other people's self-interest. So this is what we tend to do. And he says in here, in this example, yep. Oh, it is not from the benevolence, it is not from the generosity of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own interest. We address ourselves not to their humanity, but to their self-love, and never talk to them of our own necessities, but of their advantages. So imagine you have a butcher, a brewer, and a baker, right? What are they producing? Well, meat, beer and bread. And so here we have these three entities within the society. Well, let's say we got the baker. Well, what is the baker making? Well, they're making donuts and bread and pies and cakes and croissants, chocolate-filled croissants, and confections of all sorts. Well, why is the baker going to the trouble of doing all of that? It's not because of the generosity of their own heart. It's not because the people in the community happen to want baked goods, and this is why they're going to the trouble of making them. No, they're doing it because of their own self-interest. By providing these things to other people, they will pay him something, and now he has money that he can take to the butcher, the brewer, or to other people and get things that he wants by appealing to those people's self-interest. Yep. So, and then you got the butcher. The butcher is butchering meat and doing all this stuff. Again, not out of generosity, but out of self-interest. And it is that self-interest that is motivating these individuals to do things for other people. And this is one of the key insights that Smith has here, is that in market systems, you cannot satisfy your own self-interest until you first do something for other people. So the baker can't satisfy their own self-interest unless they first produce baked goods that other people happen to desire and for which they'll pay. Okay? So I produce in order that I can consume. And it is my self-interest and my desire to consume that motivates me to do things for other people. Okay? And this is the thing, is that some people look at markets or capitalism as being selfishness and greed, but that's not what it's supposed to be about at all. Maybe it can turn into that in some instances, but really it is about that you are motivated to do things for other people because your self-interest is causing you to be motivated. Okay? So think about your own job, for example, or if you have a job or you had a job. Whatever it is that you did. Let's say you worked at a fast food place, right? So you're making burgers, you're making fries, it's sweaty work, you're dealing with difficult customers. Are you doing this simply because the people of the society happen to want burgers and fries or whatever it is the place served? Heck no. You did it because you were getting paid. Okay? Getting paid was your motivation to do things that the society wanted, the goods and the services that the society wanted. That was your motivation to do those things for other people. It was your self-interest. Would you have done these things if it wasn't your self-interest that was involved? Well, probably not. Why would you bother? Why would you go to the trouble? Why would you take away your leisure time and everything else? Okay? So that self-interest is what is motivating you to do things for other people. And this is the thing about markets. You got the buyers, you got the sellers. Sellers are not there trying to screw you over, right? Sellers are there to try to sell something to you in a mutually beneficial exchange. I'll give you what you want, all right, and you give me what I want. That we're both going to benefit as a result. After the trade has taken place, we're both going to have something that we wanted more than what we had previously. Okay? So if I'm, say, McDonald's, well, I've got a cheeseburger combo meal, and I'm going to sell it for, let's say, $5. Well, what did I want more, the burger and the food, or did I want your $5? Well, I sold it to you, so clearly I wanted your money, the $5, more than what I wanted the combo meal. And on the other side of the equation, you as the buyer, what did you want more? Did you want the food more, or did you want your $5 more? Well, you were willing to give up your $5 in exchange for the food, so apparently you wanted the food more than your $5. So after the trade has taken place, who won? You both won! McDonald's won and you won. You both got something after the trade, or through the trade, that you wanted more than what you had beforehand. Okay? That's a win-win scenario. And again, it's out of self-interest that people are producing. It's out of self-interest that people do things for other people.